by the end of the night was the meat smelling.
Oh yes, but I kind of liked it.
It's disgusting.
After a closer look at Gaga's iconic meat dress, you may think twice about your trip to the butcher.
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga has always been one to blend her love of art and fashion with her music.
When I'm writing music, I'm thinking about the clothes I'm gonna wear.
She's also never been afraid to speak her mind. When Gaga appeared in the controversial dress that made headlines all over the world, the crowd was stunned by both what she was wearing and saying. After 10 years, it's time to look back on the iconic meat dress that opened doors for celebs to use their red carpet ensembles to share their political opinions and make statements on important world issues.
I love this young lady. She's gonna do big things. Give it up for Lady Gaga!
Even before that memorable night in award show history, Gaga was earning her status as a household name and finding new ways to push the boundaries of fashion.
I want to give my fans everything that they deserve, and they do not deserve sweatpants and sneakers.
Still fairly new to the scene, the eccentric performer from New York grew up with dreams of making it big. In her early career, Gaga added to her already immense wealth of musical talent with an unforgettable on-stage character that helped skyrocket her to stardom and made her into the pop star we know today.
But this isn't my look. This is my life.
Gaga quickly became known for her outrageous red carpet outfits, unique performances, and bold makeup and fashion choices. Keeping up her reputation, Gaga always turns up the dial for award shows, events, and red carpets. Who can forget the larger-than-life custom Brandon Maxwell gown she wore to the 2019 camp-themed Met Gala? The gown included 4 tearaway layers, revealing an entirely new outfit underneath. Way to think outside the box. Or how about the dress made of bubbles she wore for a performance in New York in 2009. But nothing can top this. Although amazed, many viewers at the event assumed that the dress was a simulation made to look like meat. Nope. The entire dress was actually made out of real meat. The body, the clutch-style bag, even Gaga's beret hat were all real live cuts of Argentinian meat that the designers sourced from their go-to butcher in LA. The dress, which became one of the most recognized ensembles worn in pop culture history, was designed by Frank Fernandez, a couturier originally from Argentina. The unique design featured 40 pounds of meat draped into the shape of a dress. The designer told the Huffington Post that the specific type of meat is called matombre, which is a thin cut of flank steak, chosen due to its lack of smell and mess. The asymmetrical dress was cut above the knee with a cowl neckline and hanging meat fringe around the bottom. The bodice was layered and hung down over the singer's petite frame. The ensemble included meat-shrouded wedge boots wrapped in meat-packing string. Gaga also donned long blonde locks to go with the look, as well as crystal bracelets and a choker to glam it up, as Gaga does. This wasn't the first time that Gaga and the celeb designer had worked together. Fernandez had previously designed the diamond-studded costumes for the singer's Bad Romance music video, which actually won the VMA award for Best Video in 2010. The designer later told HuffPost that one of the biggest challenges was that he created the dress without Gaga present for an in-person fitting. Frank said, "We didn't get a chance to have a fitting. The only time she had it on was for the VMAs. Only when I saw it on the monitor did I know it would be big." The designer also assured the public that the dress wasn't quite as foul-smelling as it looked. Well, it wasn't rotting, at least. Fernandez told MTV that the dress had been stored in a cooler right up until Gaga slipped into the layers of meat. He said it hadn't been sitting out for more than 5 hours, and it's not a heavy, gross meat. Fernandez also said that according to the singer, it didn't smell too bad, and even claimed it has a sweet smell. As for the process, the designer also said that it had been refrigerated all throughout its conception as well. The dress was meant to cause a certain stunning reaction among viewers. Gaga did this by making the meat dress her third outfit of the night. She didn't even show up wearing it. Instead, she stepped out onto the first paparazzi lineup in a red and gold preliminary gown by Alexander McQueen. The design of Gaga's first dress was a prelude to the upcoming upcoming outfit and played on the idea of a fully intact animal with feathers jutting out from her headpiece. To Gaga's normal standards, the original dress also featured sky-high shoes, and Gaga needed help from her guests to walk in them. The star held onto the arms of members of the Service Members Legal Defense Network Organization, or SLDN, who had been discharged from the armed forces for unjust causes. After the white carpet, Gaga changed into a temporary Armani ensemble, but later that night, Gaga appeared wearing the meat dress. She wore the dress as a symbol of her protest against the US military's Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy and law. The now overturned policy meant that many LGBTQ people serving in the military weren't able to be open about their identities to their coworkers and superiors for risk of professional backlash. Before this violating law was overturned, people identifying as LGBTQ could face losing their military jobs. Good for Gaga for standing up for this important human rights issue. What exactly did it have to do with the dress made out of meat? Gaga explained her fashion choice in a later interview with Ellen DeGeneres. It has many interpretations, but for me this evening, it means that if we don't stand up for what we believe in and we don't fight for our rights, pretty soon we're going to have as much rights as the meat on our bones. Although there was a general wave of surprise from her fellow award show attendees, some other celebs seemed quite impressed with Gaga's outfit. When the singer took the stage to accept her award for Best Music Video presented by Cher, the two ladies looked quite interesting. Cher with her signature curled hair and leather jacket holding Gaga's meat purse as she accepted her award statue. Gaga's speech included a very self-aware comment on the situation, which, out of context, would seem laughable.
I never thought I'd be asking Cher to hold my meat purse.
Nobody could have expected that. Drake also apparently got a kick out of the fleshy design. Gaga shared a photo to Instagram of the Canadian rapper taking a rather big pretend bite out of the meaty clutch. Time magazine named the meat dress the best fashion statement of the year, even beating out Kate Middleton's famous engagement dress. There were other interpretations of the dress. Some art historians believed it was a reference to Canadian artist Jana Sturbach's 1987 art piece called Vanita's Flesh Dress, which represented the idea of memento mori. Later in 2019, Billie Eilish had her own reaction to the 2010 dress. Eilish, a known lifelong vegan, couldn't help but react with a yikes and a slightly horrified expression. To each their own opinion, but whatever you do, never disrespect Gaga's little monsters on Twitter.
Was the meat dress a Grammys event?
Yes.
Yikes.
Although most celebs supported the performer's bold message, some vegetarians and vegans were singing a different tune in response to the outfit. In her after-show interview with Ellen DeGeneres, another known vegetarian, Gaga expressed that the dress wasn't meant to cause any offense to anyone who is vegan or against the consumption of meat. PETA, however, didn't feel that this was enough of an apology. Ingrid Newkirk, the founder of the animal rights organization, said in an official statement, "Someone should whisper in her ear that there are more people upset by butchery than impressed by it." The meat dress was Gaga's second time using the controversial material as clothing in the form of a statement. For a cover of Japanese Vogue, Gaga donned a meat bikini, which she later stated was in part a message about herself as a female performer being more than just a piece of meat. The 2010 VMAs were a win for Gaga not only for her message on human rights, but also for her musical career. After 13 nominations, the star ended up taking home 8 awards that night, including the coveted Video of the Year, as well as other awards for Bad Romance and Telephone, 2 of the biggest tracks of that year in music. After accepting her awards, Gaga also announced to her little monsters her upcoming album Born This Way, an album dedicated to LGBTQ youth growing up and finding community and acceptance. She stated, "The message, the melodies, the direction, the meaning, what it will mean to my fans, and what it will mean to me in my own life, it's utter liberation." Gaga's fashion statement about the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy on the carpet began her career-long goal of fighting for the rights of the LGBTQ community. Her music, fashion, and outspoken character have all become symbols for those those struggling with identity and finding acceptance. Gaga stands for being yourself and has provided that support to so many fans. Gaga opened the doors for conversation and dialogue about some issues that were previously often swept under the rug. The singer's act of wearing her statements and opinions out in the open also began a movement among other celebs. Over the past decade, many stars have been using their fame and platforms for positive activism and awareness on important issues. The idea of protest clothing quickly spread around the globe, in Hollywood in particular, as celebs and stars began finding new and fashionable ways to use their massive platforms and reach to support important causes and world issues. Of course, Gaga wasn't the first to popularize protest clothing. In the early movements of Black rights, protesters would wear suits, ties, and dress shoes during marches as a symbol of their demands to be fairly integrated into upper-class society. In the 70s, Cher herself refused to follow red carpet dress codes, and once showed up to the Academy Awards in a midriff-exposing bikini top in protest of conservative dress codes for women. Go Cher! For the 2001 Academy Awards, fellow feminist and activist performer Bjork wore a swan costume on the red carpet as a tongue-in-cheek subversive statement on the costumes required by stars in front of the cameras. At the 2018 Golden Globe Awards, many female celebs such as Meryl Streep, Reese Witherspoon, and Natalie Portman encouraged attendees to wear all black outfits to the event in protest of the former movie producer and now convicted offender Harvey Weinstein. The accusations and amplified voices of the case broke down walls blocking many women from speaking their own truths, and the support of many Hollywood stars helped bring this and other similar situations to justice. The Time's Up movement became a monumental part of history thanks to these women wearing their protests on their sleeves. This past year, many celebs took to social media to show off clothing encouraging America's youth to get out and vote in the elections. For the 2020 Billboard Music Awards, singer Lizzo donned a form-fitting black dress with the word "vote" scattered across the design. The star was sending a very clear and very powerful message to her fans. Another fan favorite is actress Emma Watson's 2015 Academy Awards look. The star took on the green carpet challenge in support of sustainable fashion. She made sure that every part of her Calvin Klein designed outfit was sourced and made using ethical production, even having the designer use yarn made from recycled plastic bottles. For Watson's look, the detachable pieces of a corset and trousers could be worn again to future events. Now, protest dressing does risk the media paying too close attention to what's being worn instead of what's being said. Fashion and art, however, maintain their power as a platform for voicing messages to the world watching. As Gaga developed her public persona, she never shied away from working with the world's top designers to create out-of-this-world pieces to mystify her audiences and fellow celebs. Gaga has always treated her fashion and outfits as an extension of her music and as an homage to the art world.
If I see a jacket that looks like this, I think about the kind of song I would write.
Her first project after moving to LA with her record company was House of Gaga. Her creative team modeled after the factories of Andy Warhol and the famous German art school Bauhaus. Gaga's recent work and projects took on a brand new aesthetic, again blending her worlds of art and music. 2020's Chromatica played with futuristic aesthetics to match the electro-pop tone of the album. Gaga even created a fictional dystopian planet as a setting for her upbeat collection. Aside from the meat dress, Gaga has played a huge role in human rights movements and other meaningful issues. After her famed statement, Gaga founded the Born This Way Foundation in 2012 with her mother, Cynthia Germanata, a non-profit organization that works to connect, engage, and inspire youth. The foundation also supports mental health care for young people. Lady Gaga also contributes much of her philanthropic energy to LGBTQ advocacy, helping to normalize and globalize the support of underrepresented and discriminated communities. In June of 2011, the star made a 20-minute speech at a rally in Rome, describing her fans as revolutionaries of love.
Let us be revolutionaries of love and encourage unity around the world.
Gaga's infamous meat dress made such a huge impact on the music industry and pop culture that it was purchased by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, who paid a taxidermist $6,000 to preserve the dress, and now it sits in an exhibit called Women Who Rock: Vision, Passion, Power. That's right, the dress is now jerky, boots and all. Gaga later revisited the meat look, paying homage to the original dress and meaty theme in her Born This Way ball tour with a faux meat ensemble and hanging cuts of beef as stage decor. Art and music, as Gaga has shown us, are a great way to drive home important messages. Who would guess that a dress that blended music, art, activism, and beef would be so impactful? In a world of little black dresses and gemstone gowns, Lady Gaga always finds a way to stand out and show off her unique personality. The iconic meat dress said a lot more than she was expecting and has become an important part of history, both in fashion and music, as well as pop culture. Don't stop stunning the world, Gaga.
Thank you so much.
Let us know what you thought of the meat dress in the comments, and subscribe to The Taco for more videos about important moments in pop culture history.